It's no secret that Microsoft has put a lot of money behind Game Pass and how Game Pass is going to function and be the center of all of their business practice. But in order to make money, you have to spend money. So it does look like they are going to be paying attention and focusing on key aspects when it comes to their first party lineup. One's the quality, and it looks like Microsoft might be more open to buying more studios here going forward. But before we get on to the video, definitely hit that like button if you guys enjoyed the video. You can always subscribe to the channel for weekly content. You can always follow me on Twitter at LordAddictILP. Without any further ado, let's get on with the video. If you've been a fan of Microsoft for as long as I have, one of the key things that they've been really dropping the ball off with this entire generation is the quality of their first party title games. It does seem there are exceptions to this rule. All of you know that Halo, Gears, and Forza is the pillars of the company that it stands on. So these games most of the time have high quality products and they work extremely well, and for the most part they're reviewed well and they sell well. But it does look like Microsoft and Xbox might be taking the first party quality in general over the whole studios more seriously. Phil Spencer said in an interview of Game Industry Bits, let me go ahead and quote it word for word, I'm gonna put it on the screen for you guys. "My role is different now. I get to sit back and watch more as a consumer. One of the things that really strikes me is the creative diversity in the portfolio. For those of you that's been following me, you know that I've been very vocal with this. I feel like Microsoft is being more diverse than Sony is currently. Obviously, Sony has the better games. That is not a denial, that's not a secret, and you can't dispute that. But I do think for the most part, Microsoft's more diverse in terms of what they're making now." All right, back on to what Phil Spencer said. "I am a fan of Xbox, obviously, but I don't mind going to, are we the shooter box? That is one of the key things that people really attacked Microsoft being, is quote unquote the shooter box. The whole 360 era and a lot of the Xbox One era, that was one of the key things that a lot of people would attack them for." Let's go back to what Phil said. "Is it Gears, Halo, Forza, Gears, Halo, Forza? I know all the memes about us. So I do like that he's stating that he knows people clown on them for that very thing. And look at it. What the teams have already built this year, the things that we're going to show, and the things that are coming out later this year, and it is high quality. Very different and takes some creative risks." Now let's go over what Phil Spencer said in this statement that he said. First thing I want to say is he is aware that a lot of people talk about the quality of the games. He is aware that people call his box a shooter box. One of the things that I'm really looking at this that's kind of interesting is he says that what the teams are creating, it's creative risk. So that means that he's letting them build outside the comfort zone that Microsoft normally has. One of the things I want to talk about is the verbiage and how he's saying some of these sentences. Now let's go ahead and read one particular thing. He says, "And look what the teams have already built this year, and the things that we're going to show, and the things that are coming out later this year, and it is high quality and very different. And it takes some creative risks." He could be talking about Halo. We all know Halo's coming out this year, but I'm hoping he's not just talking about Halo. I hope he's talking about more of the other studios that they bought. For instance, when it comes to Obsidian, we know that they bought that studio for one particular game that they saw them making. Obviously, they might not have bought it just for that game, but that is a lot of the rumors going around, that Microsoft seen an unfinished game that they've been working on behind the scenes, and they liked it so much that they just wrote them a check. So I really think it's interesting how they said coming out later this year. That could mean Halo, but that could mean something else. Maybe this July 23rd event, they might drop a new IP that's coming out this year that none of us even know about, and that would be absolutely insane. Now that we've talked a little bit about the quality of games, let's talk about them upping the studios that's making the quality of these games. So it looks like Microsoft might actually not be done buying studios. I'm gonna go ahead and read you a little bit of something from an article. It's from the same people that had the article of the last thing that we talked about, but this is interesting. So let me go ahead and read this. "The first priority was making sure the studios had the things they needed to build the best version of this game. That means extending some of the timelines and giving them more budgets. We really have strong support from the CEO of Microsoft and Amy Hood, the CFO. and that's been no signal at all that we should be slowing down. But just to go at a pace that is manageable for us as a leadership team, we're always out there talking to people, but it has to be the right opportunity. So let's go ahead and break down the statements that has been said here. First thing I want to really hone in on is when he says the first priority was making sure the studios had the things they needed to build the best version of their game. Obviously, this can mean equipment. This can mean a lot of things. I do think that some of these studios were working with outdated mocap, etc, etc. Next thing I want to go over is when they say extending timelines and giving them more budgets. Clearly the world is revolved around money. Can't do anything without it. And one of the key things that a lot of these studios that agreed to be bought by Microsoft is they wanted to not worry about shutting down if they mess up one game, or to not worry about shutting down the middle of a cost because they ran out of budget. With this type of Microsoft money, that they can prevent that from happening because they get that money up front to do the budget. Now let's talk a little bit about when he says, and there's been no signal at all that we should be slowing down. I think that's a huge statement in itself. That means that he's pretty much saying the CEO of Microsoft and Amy Hood are saying, yo, we don't want to slow down on buying studios. What we want to do is we want to get the correct studios and the ones that make sense the most to us. And those are going to be helping you build Game Pass into the service that we want it to be. Keep in mind right here, they say, but just go at a pace that is manageable for us as a leadership team. You don't continue to put more studios when you don't have people to manage them. You don't have people to talk to them. Right now, I'm sure Phil Spencer is running like crazy, visiting all these studios and making sure everything's going the way they are. So that's why they said has to be the right opportunity, because there's a lot of factors that goes into just buying studios. It's not as simple as just money. Now, money is definitely one of the key factors, but is the studio willing to sell? Do we have the people that we can manage this studio? Do we have enough people in place to have a good communication line to these studios? Keep in mind how many studios they've bought. It really matters. But that's pretty much all for the video. One of the things I want to really ask, the viewership, go in that comment section below is, do you think Microsoft honestly needs more studios? I personally do think they do. I couldn't tell you who's up for sale and who they're talking to, but I do think they need a couple more studios to really bring the vision of Game Pass that I believe they have to real life. But anyway, you guys definitely put in the comment section below if you guys think that. This is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace.